guys, this is Neena Perez, and this is Memoirs of a Fat Girl. So this is the very first episode of Memoirs of a Fat Girl, and it's going from fat, F-A-T, to P-H-A-T, which is pretty, healthy, and terrific. And so my very first episode is something that I have really been getting into lately. First recipe. The first recipe is going to be a bone broth, and it's going to be a beef bone broth. So I don't know if some of you know, some of you are new to my channel, you will know that I am a chef by trade, but I also have my own catering company and so on. So I have been getting into bone broths, and so they have been making me feel better. They're making me feel a little bit more fluid. My joints feel better. My intestinal tract feels better. There's a lot of nutrition that goes into this. I know vegans are probably like, oh, what are you doing? I am not a vegan. I am a meat eater, but I do enjoy my vegetables and so on. But I'm gonna make a bone broth. So what I did is I went out and bought bones. I bought these beautiful knuckles from my butcher, from my local butcher. I go to a place in Westport, and I got these beautiful bones. And if you see, they're just, they have some meat on them, but mostly they're just full of cartilage and so I think there's even a tendon in one of these, because these are like bones, and there's some marrow bones here too. He has a nice marrow in there. And then I bought short ribs. So the reason I bought short ribs is so that we can have some kind of meat in here too. There's some fat on this. This is beautiful. So my husband's like, hey, you're not throwing that out afterwards. And the answer is no. I will give it to him. He can eat it for his lunch. But these are beautiful short ribs. And I'm gonna put all of these beautiful short ribs, look at that. Oh, that marbling is nice. Right onto the sheet pan. And so everything is gonna go on the sheet pan. I have already set my oven to 450 degrees. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these beautiful bones. See that? Oh, gorgeous. And I'm going to roast them. I'm not gonna do anything to them. Some people put olive oil, salt and pepper, all that great stuff. I'm not doing that, but I am gonna roast them at 450 degrees for 30 minutes. So 30 minutes, they're gonna go into the oven, they're gonna get a beautiful color to them. And when they are done, we are going to then take a lot of aromatics, and those are going to go in. I'm not cooking them on the stove. That's another thing a lot of people do, which is fantastic. And in fact, I have done bone broth like that, where you take a big stock pot, you fill up the bones, you put the water on it, all the aromatics and vegetables that you want to put in there, you cook it for 12 hours minimum, 24 hours maximum. It brings out all of the gelatin and all. I mean, it's just a beautiful process. But I've discovered that I have done this recipe a couple of times already, and I have made it in my Instapot. But I don't have an Instapot. I have a Pampered Chef Instapot, which is just the same thing. It's beautiful. It's 6 quarts. It fills up beautifully. And about 3 pounds to 3.5 pounds of bones is what goes in there. So 3.5 pounds of bones is all you have to put into your Instapot. If you have an Instapot that's about 6 quarts. If you have an 8-quart one, you could probably do a couple more bones. Mine just happens to be a 6-quart pot. So this is gonna go into the oven for 30 minutes. And then when it comes out, I will show you what that looks like. And then I will also show you all the aromatics and everything else that I put into my bone broth. I can't wait. I'm super excited that you are here with me. I am super excited that we are doing this, and I hope that I get a lot of feedback from you guys as to what you want to see. What kind of recipes do you want to see? Is there something that you eat that you know is bad for you that you would like to see recreated in maybe a more healthy way? I would love to be challenged that way. So I'm gonna have a pastry chef here who's gonna show us how to bake something that should be not good for you to something good for you. I'm gonna have a couple of personal trainers on here, nutritionists on here, like a whole bunch of really great stuff. Meanwhile, I'm also going to be doing all of these great recipes for you. Like I said, this is going to be a beef bone broth, but I'm hoping to do a chicken one as well. I've also made bone broth with veal bones, so good. So either way, whatever bones you have, let's just use them, and let's use them in a way that makes us more healthy. So we will be right back. All right, guys, as promised, it's been 30 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the beef bones from the oven. So I don't know if you can hear all that crackling and wonderfulness going on. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? That sounds so beautiful. Anyway, so this is our beef bones. Crackling away. Sounds amazing. So we are going to take these beef bones. They have been cooking for 30 minutes at 450 degrees. So I'm going to take these beef bones and I'm going to put them in my pressure cooker. So I'm going to take these guys, if I could take them off of here. They are beautiful. The marrow on that. So I'm going to take these guys. See that? Okay. And then we're going to take, if we can save this. I don't want to lose any of these amazing juices. So all of these juices go in. And then we're going to take all our aromatics. So everybody has a different method on how they like to do this part. I actually like to just cut up my onions and my carrots and turmeric, real turmeric. And I like to just literally leave the skin on, because it's gonna all get strained out anyway. I make sure everything is clean. I pop everything in. Okay, put another carrot stick in there. These are all washed, it's just not peeled. Okay, and I throw in a cinnamon stick. Very good for the respiratory system, and at this time of year it's pretty chilly outside, so why not? I also put in some fresh bay leaves, thyme, garlic, which I do not peel, again, kind of crush, just throw them in. I also do the turmeric, the fresh turmeric. I already put some in there. I do about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. And then I definitely use some black pepper. And the reason I use black pepper is because black pepper activates the turmeric. And turmeric is excellent for inflammation in the body. So I get a lot of inflammation because I eat things I'm not supposed to be eating, right? And I know that I shouldn't be having anything with cow milk or gluten and stuff. It affects my body, but I end up doing it anyway because this is why I am a fat girl. This is why I'm on this journey, because I keep doing things I know I'm not supposed to be doing, but for whatever reason, I do them. So the whole point of Memoirs of a Fat Girl is to make sure that I overcome this. And the only way to do it is to have accountability. And so this is me putting myself out there to be accountable. It's a little bit scary, but it's fine. It's what I have to do. It's what I have to do. So we're gonna take some Himalayan sea salt. It's very, very good for you. It has a lot of minerals. Not much, so 2 little pinches is fine. You don't have to use salt. Some people don't, especially if you have blood pressure problems and things like that. Please don't use any. I also put in some star anise just to give it this very nice flavor. It's very, very nice with beef. And then I also use some apple cider vinegar with the mother, okay, with the mother in it. So I use about 1 to 2 tablespoons in here. It helps to cut some of the fat, but it's also very, very good for your digestive system. It's also very good to like drink in the morning and to have with a cup of water. So very good. So here, very full. So what I do is I find the line that says 2/3 full, and every crock pot, or I'm sorry, I keep saying crock pot, every Instapot has one. It says 2/3 full, and that's where you're gonna fill the water up to. Okay, so this bad boy is ready to go. This is going to go, I'm gonna take you with me. This is going to go into my pressure cooker, and I'm gonna lower the pressure on this. So I already pressed custom, and I press pressure, and now I'm just gonna lower the pressure a little bit. All right, so we lowered the pressure. Now we're gonna put the time, and the time is gonna go all the way up to 2 hours. And there's a reason for this, right? It takes a while to break down all of the collagen and everything in the broth. So we're gonna put that into 2 hours. 2 hours cooking time. Then we're gonna let it completely like pressure naturally. We're not gonna quick pressure it, or let it quick pressure release, I should say. We're just gonna let it on pressure by itself. It's just better to do that with meat anyway. The juices get to go back into your meats and everything distributes the way it should, and therefore it just works out a little bit better. So that's what I found anyway. So I have already made broth from before, and I wanted to show you something. So this is a veal and bone beef bone broth, and I leave the fat on it, and some people don't. They tell you to skim the fat off or take the fat, you know, at the end. So what you can do easily is just open up the jar, you puncture this with a fork, and you just lift up the fat, and then all you have is the collagen and the beef broth inside. So the reason I leave the layer of fat is for a couple of reasons. One, because I use this broth sometimes for my soups and stews and things like that, and so I don't mind the fat in there to help give body to the soup. Another reason I leave it is because if you leave the seal, this is basically like a vacuum seal, if you will, over your broth, then what happens is that it lasts longer, especially in the fridge, right? So what I do is I warm this guy up, and I usually drink it twice. So I'll drink half of it or a little more than half early in the day, and then I might drink another half of it in the evening. Don't have to do that. You can put them in smaller containers and just do 1 cup a day. I have it in bigger containers, so I drink 2 cups a day. But you don't have to do any of that. You could do it however you like. But I will tell you that bone broth has been the craze right now, and I can see why. I've been feeling a lot better on it. So I say do it. Why not? And it's only going to take you 2 hours in the pressure cooker, but it will take you 12 hours minimum and 24 hours maximum on a stovetop. And you do the exact same thing that you just seen me do. The only difference is that you're going to be waiting on a pot, very low flame, right? Because it's going to break down all of the marrow and all of the collagen from the bones, and so that's a process. You can't speed that process up. It's nothing you can do to make it faster, especially if you're going to be doing it on the stove. Okay, so you just put it in the back of the stove. You could do it when you get home from work, go to sleep, let it cook all the way through till the morning when you have to go to work, and then you can go ahead and strain it and do everything. So I will show you what the end result is when we come back. So 2 hours and I will be back with you. I'm probably going to go catch an episode of 24 with hubby, and then I'll be back and we will go over straining it and what that looks like and how I store it and so on and so forth. So we will see you in a bit. Hey there guys, so I'm back and it has been over 2 hours. I actually had to do it in the morning because last night for whatever reason my power wasn't working in the house. I'm not sure what that was about, but it's working now. So it did it this morning, and here's the results. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. So it is rich in color, and you probably can't see that. Let me show you. It's beautiful in color. It has deep, rich colors in it. All the veggies are cooked down. So I am going to take this and I am going to strain it. So I'm going to use a fine mesh strainer, and I have another bowl here just in case this bowl is not big enough, which I don't think it is. So I'm going to take this. It's going to be light in color. I'm going to show you a little bit. I'll finish straining it. My husband wanted me to keep this meat for him, so I'm going to go ahead and take out these spare ribs for him. He's a good dude. I could spare a couple ribs for him. And so all of these veggies are all cooked down and everything. There's really nothing more you can pull out of these veggies. So you can throw all of this out. There's really nothing on here. But I'll finish doing this. While I do this, I'm going to show you the broth. Oh, there's my little star anise. The broth is gorgeous. The broth is this very rich, nice color. It almost looks like a chicken broth, but it's not. It actually is a beautiful broth. Look at that. It's gorgeous. So this beautiful broth now I'm going to allow to cool in some containers. So like I said before, this is my broth from before, and I put them in here into the mason jars. So I went on Amazon and I bought these deli containers. These are the ones that are microwave, freezer safe, all that, dishwasher safe, the whole thing. And so this will probably give me about 6 of these deli containers, which isn't bad, right? I mean, for 3.5 or so pounds of bones and spare ribs and a bunch of veggies and stuff, this gives you about 6 of these, because I know it gives me about 6 of these mason jars, five and change of the mason jars. So you'll have at least, if you're going to drink one a day, you'll have 6 days worth. If not, you'll have 8 days or 10 days worth, depending on how much you drink. So use it in your soups, you use it to flavor some sauces, use it into making gravies, whatever you want to use them for. But I use them to drink, just so that it coats my intestinal tract, and it has all those nice, beautiful health benefits in there, and vitamins and minerals and all that great stuff. So thank you so much for watching my first episode. Again, this is Neena Perez, and this is Memoirs of a Fat Girl. And I hope that you will join me on this journey of weight loss. And I'm gonna be real, guys. Like, I'm gonna let you guys know when I F up, when I'm not doing the right thing, when I ate something I shouldn't have, why I think I did that, that kind of stuff. Because I think that fat girls go through some really tough mental battles that a lot of people just don't understand, and they think that by shaming you or talking to you about what you should and shouldn't do, that you're just going to go ahead and do it. And meanwhile, they don't realize that there's a lot of battle that goes on with knowing what's right and knowing what to do and actually doing it, right? So I hope you enjoyed this first episode. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I also have a talk show if you're interested. It's called Straight Talk, no sugar added. You can go on there too, watch a couple of shows. Those shows are to talk about life topics. I talk to other people about things they've been through, from surviving brain tumors and cancer, and people who have come out of prison and what they are doing to reform. I've talked to some really great and interesting people. So go on there and check that out too. Thank you so much for watching. This is Neena Perez at Memoirs of a Fat Girl, and I will be coming out with an episode hopefully every week for you on this channel. Thanks. Until next time.